in day one. And, I mean, why not? You want to take out champions that you're not really too comfortable with. Because I talked to EG when they're CLG at the time at Intel Shin Masters Cologne, and against CG Entus, they were like, we're just going to ban Zed because we don't really know what he does kind of thing. We don't really want to go against him if we don't know how to play against him.
So we can see, you do catch a glimpse of those double headsets. Of course, they have to have one to basically cut big mouths out. When not even sure whether it works when I get that loud, but maybe it can. Anything can keep my chops away from these guys. And also, of course, the second headset, A, being their sponsors, and B, being what they can talk to each other on. So you can see they've got their headsets in there. They also have in-ears as well, so we're behind those headsets. So it's all completely blocking out our music. So our music? Not really music. Our
Your
mouths.
voice is music to my ears.
Thank you very much, Jason. Lux and Anivia being banned out by SK. No shock there. Straight targeted towards Frog, and Twitch being taken away. Of course, Candy Panda used that one earlier on. And there's the Nidalee taking it away from Ocelot.
Yeah, they're going to go against
Olaf and Shen available. Which one are they going to go
and
for?
Kazakhs.
100%. Is he going to go Olaf? If he does, almost certainly going to take Ghost and Home Guard boots.
And we might see Katzen picked up for Frog, and just to kind of have a repeat of what we saw. I wouldn't be surprised because he's played Olaf quite a bit in the last game versus Fnatic. He played him in the top lane. He's a relatively good Olaf, besides that little misstep he made. And he's a strong pick. I mean, you were saying before, he's pretty much 100% banner pick still at this point in the entire season 3, or entirety of season 3. And why not go with him if you're confident? But it looks like, there's a lot of mind games going on. We were talking about that before, and SK kind of not trying to fall into anything.
Well, if we do say Olaf being picked in there, of course, Darian picked that yesterday against Brickid on Shen. He managed to completely block him out there and didn't even die once. There was a brick wall,
yes,
as Reddit pointed out, and actually he was quite happy with that. He was quite happy with it, Nick. He said, introduce me as Brickid, but he's not going to get it because it is going to be Kevin on Shen this time, so I expect Olaf possibly to come out from Evil Genius. They are going to go for the AD support first, though, maybe. So
Caitlyn, Lulu, which they've played twice in a row so far. I was talking to Wicked upstairs, and he says when he sees Shen the other team, he's going to go Olaf because he wants to show everyone this is how you play Olaf against Shen.
Oh.
And he's that confident in that champion, so I'm really looking forward to see if he does pull that off. And my question to you, Demon, oh, wow, actually, yeah, Xin was let through. How did we forget about that?
Yeah. Well, how did we forget about Xin Zhao? That's the question. He has been picked up. That's going to be Snoopy in the jungle. He could, of course, be the top laner.
It could be Frog in the mid lane.
He could.
Yeah.
Yes, of course. I forgot he's been running that. His this way back in season 2 he was running Xin Zhao in mid, actually. Along with Jarvan
in North America.
Yeah,
when they were there for a couple of months.
That was it.
He's running Lee Sin mid lane as well, Jarvan. I mean, obviously could be anywhere, but still in the jungle, he's a very strong champion. It really offers a lot to your team. And SK, I wouldn't be too surprised to see potentially LeBlanc, because that is one of Ocelot's favorite champions.
It is potentially.
And it is a wild card.
It's very early on to be doing that sort of thing. That would definitely be the last pick. What are we expecting here? It's going to be an AD and support. You thinking Ezreal?
Yeah, any Panda, he's known for playing Ezreal. It's one of his favorite and most comfortable champions. Why not kind of go with that? Maybe that Ezreal Sona, because then you have that taunt, you have the crescendo. It's a really nice form of locking the enemy team down, and we'll see what they're going to pick. It's only have 5 seconds. They're really thinking out these bans each time. Wow, they're actually going to pick it up before they can let EG do it.
They could have the jungler in there, and now it's really definitely going to force the hand of them. So Herkybot could go with either Shen or Olaf. That could go either way. The can be used in whichever lane. I remember way back when it was like every time I saw Shen picked, it was like, well, of course it's going to be jungle D-man. You know nothing. Well, of course, the teams certainly turned that around in Season 3, and it could well be in any position possible. Of course, that's going to be Sona as we expect. What will we see from Evil Geniuses?
I'm really trying to think with the Lulu, obviously, since there's no reason to not show that, since they already have that Caitlyn, but I'm trying to think that they might pick up their mid lane here over for Frog. And I'm trying to think, what champion would he actually go for? We haven't seen much Karthus play, but instead, you know what, hey, let's go for Akali. It worked on Wicked once, let's try it again.
But can that work against the Nola for a Shen? That's pretty ballsy play. Or are they looking at a 2v1? But in Akali in a 2v1 is not a comfortable role.
No, it's not. But the thing is, it's really hard because you can't taunt her in her shroud. She will not attack you. That way she doesn't show or reveal her position. So it's pretty good against Shen. And we did see Wicked. I mean, he dominated in farm in that game against a Shen. And, you know, why not kind of go for that again? But the thing is, he doesn't have any squishy targets to kill so far. He only has that Sona, which naturally does build up tanky enough with just the items you go, that Ruby Sight Crystal. And it really depends on what SK is going to pick up here. If they pick up a Rise potentially, which honestly would be a very strong pickup, 3 very tanky champions, and you can lock down that Zen to keep him off your AD carry, even a Kali when she comes in. I would not be surprised to see that pickup.
So we'll see what they do get in there. You can see the chat back and forth. It will be Ocelot making the calls. Candy Panda. It's not going to be Teemo, is it? We don't think so.
I think Freak's getting excited right now.
I think it's back home maybe he would be surprised at an Ashe. It's possible, but no. It's going to be Ezreal.
It's got to be. I mean, you have a Sona as a support. It's a good lineup. You have a lot of AoE in this, but still, what's their AP mid going to be? And he's going for the Kassadin.
Well, this time, at least Kevin won't be getting nightmares about it. It will be Kassadin in there. Definitely could work out very well here, actually. That's a nice lineup. Jace. Now that is going to be mid lane Jace. Yep. That is going to be frogging on Jace.
Yeah, during the qualifiers for LCS Season 3, we actually saw quite a bit of Jace in the mid lane and did exceptionally well against, APs or even the assassin ADs.
Look at that. You see the book being put away? That's Ocelot's key book. I tell you what, that's probably worth a lot of money.
I kind of want to go steal it.
It's interesting. He used to have a little scrap of paper. I remember in Katowice, he just had a little scrap of paper. He's obviously upgraded. He hasn't quite made it to an iPad or some sort of peripheral like that yet. It's still a notebook.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can get some quick scribbling.
Hacked, I suppose. But then again, if you get it stolen, you're into all sorts of trouble.
Yeah, that's very true. But I honestly kind of really respect that because it kind of, it makes you can look back on your past and see what you picked, what you banned, and kind of maybe set you up for a slight advantage that you can use and win a game. But still, Ocelot on casting with teleport, that's honestly a really interesting thing because he's already very mobile. He can roam around quite easily, but with a teleport on top of that, we might see some early ganks, actually, like some pre-6 ganks out of him.
So what are you seeing from these two team comps? Anything particular in there? I do see a last-second switch. Olaf going to top lane, Shen going to jungle.
I'm honestly looking at these two lineups. I'm going to have to give it to EG. They have so much damage. I mean, Caitlyn's going to fall off mid-game, obviously, but you have so much damage from the Jace. You have a Kali who can pretty much burst down Ezreal or Sona if he gets to even Kassadin.
And a last-second switch with the teleport.
Oh, yeah, he was. Okay, so he was running teleport. Now he's going for that Ignite, so we're maybe not going to see any of those early ganks. But, having Xin Zhao to get in there, you have Lulu to knock him up, you have the ultimate out of him to knock them away, and it really creates an opportunity for, Wicked to get in there with Akali, Frog to get in there with Jace, and Yellow Pete to just sit back with Caitlyn, and, I'm doing an arm movement, you can't see it, but that's what Caitlyn does, with the shots.
I thought for a moment you were doing the rift hit. The one hit. Do you even rift, bro? That's the question. Hey, on your screens, it is the Evo Geniuses as the red team and the blue team as SK Gaming, playing from bottom to top, and red playing from top to bottom. The question is, whose Nexus turret will go down? Will it be EG's or will it be SK Gaming's?
And Jason, you'll find out in about 70 minutes.
It could potentially be a long one. We're settling ourselves down. Will we see any level 1 fights from these teams? We haven't really seen a great deal of level 1 activity just yet here in the League Championship Series.
Well, no one has any kind of heavy CC-oriented level 1 team fights, so I don't really expect them to kind of go for that. We want to see, EG get up to not a quick start, but a steady start, a really confident start, because they're not really a team that likes to fight level 1, in my opinion. They kind of want to just protect their own jungle, allow Snoopy to get around from camp to camp so he can get in position to go for some ganks and really create some opportunities. But as you see right there, EG, as I say that, they actually are kind of going for an invade here, going for that blue buff to steal it away from Hercubot. Well, or even Olaf if they're trying to go for a lane switch.
Or are they expecting the counter now? They went in, baited it. Maybe they're going to see and have a poke around. They could go for the late invade, or they could go for an counter invade. A counter of the counter.
A counter of a counter of a counter.
And it seems to be the counter of the counter of the counter. The shock blast goes out from Froggen, forces them away and says, nope, you're not going to take our own blue buff. Instead, SK Gaming kept on the hop. Yellow Pete taken down very low by Candy Panda. Could he try and switch this one on? Has got the Q to come through and is definitely going to force Yellow Pete back to base.
Yeah, there's no way he's going to win any of these early fights against him. He's going to need that farm to really keep up against Candy Panda. Not to mention, I mean, CP has the ability to have that extra attack from his Q, so he has a lot more sustained damage. And one thing that's kind of really interesting, Yellow Pete not running that flat armor pen this time. He only has 5 flat 8%, so he changed up his runes a little bit to go against his composition.
Interesting start build as well. He's just got 3 health pots on him, so he hasn't actually bought boots yet.
Had a red pot.
He had a red pot. Yes, he has. He's popped the Brilliance pot. Wow, he's had to use that already. That's actually pretty key.
Yeah, I mean, that was trying to give him that little bit of a lane dominance, especially against a lane that can poke like this when you have no sustain. That's going to create a big problem. But then having that Lulu, who actually, Crepo, roaming around right now, going into this mid lane, was spotted by a ward, though.
Well spotted by Ward, but he's coming around towards the bottom, just off the corner of your screen there, and towards Ocelot. He's going to put the Glitter Lance across, and he's actually going to keep the roam on. This is almost like we saw Dignitas trying to do in the Season 2 World Finals. That support roaming around, and the invade is on. We do see Snoopy on the blue buff.
Yeah, and that red pot making more sense now, since he was going to be going 1v2 in that bottom lane, get the extra health, extra damage, and we might see him actually go for a 3-man gank on this top lane. Olaf, he's very easy to lock down pre-6. He only has that Ghost Ending Night, and he's sitting there at level 2. Get a nice 3-talent strike. You can easily knock him up. And we do have Cripple yet again in the middle lane. He really is roaming around trying to create some opportunities.
So I didn't notice that, and I didn't hear whether you had actually spotted it, the fact that Froggen did have that blue buff from the very start. So you can see he's going to put a lot of damage, a lot of pressure on towards Ocelot. Crepo in there, as you mentioned, in the top lane. We also see Xin Zhao putting pressure down on towards Kevin. Snoopy desperately backing away, has got that double buff, doesn't want to lose it yet, and Yellow Pete down the bottom, he's trying to 2v1 it. We do have the jungler coming around off Hercubot. They're going to dive on towards Yellow Pete. Surely first blood will come out here. It is going to be first blood. Meanwhile in the top lane, Snoopy goes down. Yellow Pete now laying down the damage back on towards Hercubot. They couldn't finish him off. Barrier was used, kept them away. Ocelot taking low in that middle lane. They are really pressuring this middle turret. It's already half health.
And the thing is, in that top lane, we did see Olaf pick up that first blood, but then he died right over to Wicked, gave that double buff away that he just picked up, and now Wicked may be so strong in this lane. He was already down in CS. The mid turret now going to fall here, and EG, this is not very like them. They're playing very aggressive early on, and we kind of almost expected that, to see something new out of them.
Yeah, they are switching it up here. We did wonder what we'd see in Season 3, and well, with Jace, they are basically playing it like a second AD in the mid lane. We saw it from Fnatic before, and now we do see Hercubot going to come in. He's going to try and maybe Shadow Dash, try and keep someone at bay, but no, the Shock Blast comes back on towards Ocelot.
Nice
Look at that, uses the acceleration, tries to bash them back, puts the damage down on towards Hercubot instead. Snoopy was around there as well, seeing if he could get a poke around. We do see Crepo taking some poke from Nif, and this has actually left the bottom lane exposed. It's just straight 1v1, straight CS battle.
Yeah, and that whole switch that happened, it really catches the other team off guard. You saw SK, we had so much
going for this turret here.
Yeah, they're going to get it. I mean, there's no way SK can defend this, but the whole switch like that, having Lulu in the middle lane, it threw SK off. We had Nif sitting in that bottom lane, trying to go for that 3-man gank. It failed, and now they're paying the price for that because that middle turret's down. They're even pushing the second turret, and Hercubot, he's going to have to come. He's going to have to help them out because Evil Geniuses, they have the opportunity to completely take this turret.
They are driving down this turret. They've nearly took a third of health off it already. Snoopy is just bashing away. They don't care about Ocelot. They don't care about Nif. They don't care about the pressure being put on them. This time it's forcing Kevin to come down the river. So that's actually going to leave the top lane exposed. Evil Genius is switching it up here. 4.5-minute middle turret. That's something you never see from Evil Geniuses.
Yeah, very true. And this is the key point, though, as we do have Snoopy. He might get caught here by Kevin.
He's going to walk straight in. Kevin pointing the damage down on towards Snoopy. He's no escape at the moment. Has to flash away. Kevin's not going to bother chasing it. Did have Ghost available.
And one problem right now is Evil Genius. They caught him off guard. They got this early advantage. The thing is, if they can't keep that flow, that craziness that they're throwing at the team right now, then they're going to lose that advantage, and they need that to really drag it on, and well, not drag it on, but to really close out this game. And as long as SK can stall it out and kind of normalize the game a little bit in their sense, then they easily will be able to, kind of get back in here and even up the gold, because that is a huge advantage for EG at 5.5 minutes.
As it is, Wicked has managed to buy himself a advantage in the CS at the top. Still, of course, got that double buff like you mentioned earlier on, so he's a kill up as well. Hercubot coming up towards his top lane to try and even things out a little bit here, but Wicked is not going aggressive enough, and instead he's just going to buy him time. He isn't backing away just yet. We saw the bottom lane's also backed off there. 41 CS to 35. Slight advantage for Yellow Pete over Candy Panda. He has gone back and got himself a Doran's Blade and that longsword. Double longsword picked up, of course, by Froggen along with that Tear of the Goddess. And, well, you can see that Brutalizer may come out soon. They're immediately heading back around. They're going to go and try towards this top lane. Wicked is hanging around. Kevin is up there. They're going to 3-man stack on the top here by the looks of it.
Yeah, and he knows it's coming because they do have a ward in that area. He's sticking around, though. And
they've got 3 more coming. It's going to be a 3-on-3 fight coming out. You can see up towards the top, Hercubot heading around. They're going to walk towards that bush. Look at this.
Spot.
Just perfectly holding off the side there. Here comes the acceleration gate, and they realize it. They get the Shadow Dash. The taunt comes out. They're diving in towards Froggen. Froggen tries to turn it back around, and this time he escapes. He flashes out of there. Is he going to be able to escape the damage? Yes, he is. And it looks like Evil Geniuses have managed to do a Houdini and get the hell out of there.
Doing a Houdini. Yeah, that was actually a critical point right there, because we saw Wicked. He was level 6 compared to Kevin, who was level 5, so he had the ability to dash in. They're still sticking around this top lane. They really want blood. They really want
the acceleration gate comes across. Couldn't quite get the burst down. It's down on Nif there, and well, Wicked was taken low for his troubles. Can they turn it around? No, they can't. They're going to keep the pressure on the top turret, though.
And that pressure is just so overwhelming for SK right now. And going back to items just a little bit, we did see 3 red pots picked up completely. We had Kevin who had one, we had Wicked who had one, and we had Yellow Pete in the bottom lane who had one. So they're really trying to push that early aggression. Wicked just want to get the extra health, that extra damage, and create an opportunity in this top lane. But EG, they're being stalled. They're getting slower. They didn't get this turret down as low as they probably wanted to, and this is creating an opportunity for SK to catch up and farm and to really, you know, kind of maybe pick up a kill or two, because they're roaming around quite well to kind of counter this. They had Shen there, they had Sona there to kind of come up in the top lane. They knew the EG was trying to go for a gank in that in the top side, and they prevented that.
Well, it looks like SK Gaming going to make a move for the blue buff. I'm not too sure whether Evil Geniuses are really in a position to stop this one, because you can see that Frog and Crepo are on the top lane. Snoopy in the jungle is on the red buff right now, and nobody but is anywhere near this one. They could pick up the blue buff and then realistically rotate round down to Yellow Pete. Yellow Pete on that turret, of course, you can see doing a 1v1 with Candy Panda. I would expect Ocelot to make moves down there. They are going to try and 4-man stack to counter this on towards the top turret. And whoa, no, Nib's going to walk straight into that wall. They're going to audacious charge straight in. The shock blast comes down. They're going to get the knock up, and that's going to be a dead Nib going down. It's Snoopy. It is the bot lane. They are going to 3-man stack towards Yellow Pete. Barrier comes out, but he's not going to be enough. He's trying to hold out as long as he can. He's going to go down, and they are going to counter and steal away the blue buff for their own. If I was Kevin, I would not be staying in that top lane right now. And
if I was SK at that bottom lane, I'd be pushing up, because you do have wards to actually spot them going back up into the top lane, trying to get the aggression there, trying to get that turret down. As you do finally have Candy Penny's going to stick around, go for that turret. And the top side, Kevin, he's going to get caught here. This is not good for him.
Why did he stay around when they do down well? They just saw Nif go down a moment ago. It's a 4-man pylon in the top there. Let's go see Snoopy going down. They just saw Nif go down in the top there. Why did he stick around?
I wish I could tell you that, because there was no reason for it. I mean, I guess he has really big axes. We do have also coming to the top side. Might be able to get Froggen down here.
Oh, I'm waiting to see Froggen trying to get away. I don't think his axes are big enough there for Ocelot, and he's going to force him away. So, turret apiece right now. That was the bottom turret going down. It was Candy Panda that picked that one up, and of course the kill on that bottom lane went across the Hercubot when they came for the invade on towards Yellow Pete. So, let's have a look. Let's take stock of the situation. It's an 800 gold swing for Evil Geniuses right now. Has their early gamble, their early aggression, something we never ever see from Evil Geniuses, worked out?
It has so far. The problem is that Evil Geniuses, they picked champions that they had a lot of damage early on, minus Caitlyn, who's just been solo farming the bottom lane. So as in, you have that control, you have really good damage out of him because of that percent armor pen off his passive. You have a Kali who just needs that level 6 to start blowing through your entire team. You have Jace who does percent damage. You have his range if you need be. And then we look at our SK side, they have more of a late game team with that Olaf, with that Shen, and with Kassadin. So they're just trying to stall it out while EG's trying to end this early on. And so far, when push comes to shove, EG's been winning this.
Snoopy Moa gets spotted out there by Ocelot. Ping's going down, Ward's going out, looking like a potential setup for the Dragon here, just defending off that mid lane. We do see SK Gaming stacking up in the middle at the moment. Who would really want this straight up fight in the mid for the Dragon?
Thing is, I don't think SK wants to fight this, but they also don't want to let EG get this to get that gold income, because we have the health items coming out of SK right now. We do have also trying to go for a little bit of chip there. But going back to the items, I mean, we have Kevin, he has a Giant's Belt, he has a Ruby Crystal. We see Shen, Hercubot has his Ruby Crystal as well, not to mention his Razor. And then we have Cass in the mid lane, Ocelot. He has his tier, and he has Ruby Crystal on top of that. They're all trying to build health to kind of counter this early game team that EG has.
Okay, this is a trade right now. They're going to go for the Dragon area with Geniuses. They're definitely going to lose that top lane, I feel. You can see Kevin continuing to push there. Are they going to drive him towards the middle? No, instead they're going to try and come down and steal it, maybe. Not even close to it. Going to be the first Dragon Fever Geniuses. That top turret is not going to go to Kevin. He's not going to be able to work that one down without someone getting up there. You can see Froggen already making a run for that top lane. I think he should get there just in time to keep it safe.
And great time by EG to really realize that, because they had that top lane pushed up like you were mentioning. Kevin wasn't able to get that turret down. If it was a little bit, more in his favor with the minions, he easily could have gotten that. But EG is trying to keep this aggression, this advantage that they have to build up and take it through the rest of these games. And the thing is, I mean, EG, they're so used to dragging the games out. They're so used to stalling it that we were amazed by how aggressive they've been. But can they continue that aggression and use it to their advantage? And that's kind of the real question we're going to see here.
We see Ocelot maybe having a look towards there. He's in the Baron pit at the moment to see whether he can catch anyone out heading up that way. Snoopy's going to pick up the race. Golem's also going across to Wicked and Frog, and as it is, Ocelot has returned to that mid lane, so Wicked is going to rotate round, and all the lanes return to normality. 12 minutes in, Dragon or Wicked might catch onto us. Kevin stood on a ward there. He's like, nope, you're not going to recall in that bush right next to me. I'm not going to allow that one. How do we look between these two AD carries? They've pretty much had their own game down this bottom lane.
Well, the thing is, the Ezreal's completely going to outdamage Caitlyn until that late game where Caitlyn has that huge drop-off in the mid game. But actually, Snoopy was coming around. So he can take him on right now, but the thing is, they're going to get baited into this fight. And if he might even potentially flash crescendo this, but they have Snoopy waiting on the sideline. Wicked and Kevin going head-to-head in the top lane.
Going head-to-head, and Wicked looking like he's going to try and get out of this one. We do see Stan United coming in, and now Wicked is in desperate trouble. He's not going to be able to use that push. One more hit will be enough, and it's Kevin that picks up the kill, and that is going to make it 3 for 3. And all square once again. The gold advantage still just about with Evil Geniuses. It's only 1,200 gold difference, and now Evil Genius is starting to turn the pressure on the bottom lane.
The problem is that advantage they built up, they have to make a decision right now. It's continue with the story, try to go for it. We do have Offset coming around for a gank, but EG just going to back out instead with that ward. But the point is, the advantage they had is kind of blown right now. They have to make a decision. Are we going to continue this aggression? Are we going to continue trying to group up, pushing these turrets down? Or are we going to drag the game out a little bit, try to get farmed up, get a little bit tanky, get some damage on our carries, and then take the fight back at SK? And the decision so far, it seems kind of half and half. I mean, they grouped at the bot lane right there, as you saw, but now they're spreading back out. Wicked heading back towards the top lane. Froggen sitting at mid yet again, going head-to-head against Oslo here. Actually might be able to catch him.
Interesting change around, and you can see Ocelot putting the damage on towards Froggen. Can he turn it back around? Kevin is going to come in, but Froggen should avoid the damage and will get away. Meanwhile, down the bottom turret, you see Ace in the hole coming out there. Landing, actually, he was going for Nif there, I think, but Candy Panda blocked it out, so Rolls reversed the AD carry, blocking out the support death. And they are just going to have to back away. There's no mana left on Yellow Pete. He may well just churn this one out and keep pushing it. As it is, we stare at a blank spot in that mid lane, but Candy Panda, he's keeping the waves at bay. I'm not too sure how much longer for, though.
And he's pretty much just running from the mid lane to the top lane back and forth just to keep pushing that, keep that farm, because he was behind Wicked, but now he currently has the lead, has that Warmog done, and over to Wicked, who doesn't have his, Hextech Gunblade done just yet. The bot lane, we have Turkey Bot coming in, but he's going to get caught by that Yordle trap.
Oh, Crepo getting slowed. Is it going to be enough? One more shot. Oh, they both had to flash there. Crepo, quick reactions the moment he saw Candy Panda coming towards him. One more basic attack would have been enough to take his life, but he got away from it, so 2 flashes burn.
And the thing is, looking at EG, they're not taking advantage anymore. It looks like they did just decide to just farm up. They are trying to control this blue buff as much as possible. I believe they've stolen away every single one so far. We did see Ocelot still one away from EG and had that blue buff for himself, but still denying that blue buff away. We do have Froggen to be catching over to Herkybot.
Herkybot getting caught on. Froggen now in all sorts of trouble because Crepo is there. He tries to put the hammer down on towards Crepo, and he beats him close enough. The Wicked get in there. Stan United comes around. Audacious Charge comes back around for Snoopy, and they do pick up. It's a 2-for-1 though, and now they're on towards Kevin. Wicked goes diving in. The still blue buff hasn't gone down. Wicked's trying to bait him around. Snoopy's going to come around. Has he got enough? He hasn't got any mana really to bait with this one. And now Wicked stuck around a little bit too long, baited by his teammates. He's going to go down. He should have pulled out of that fight long ago.
And that went from an amazing play.
Snoopy's in trouble as well. No. He's going to try and dive up towards it. Can he execute? Can he get out of there? The Audacious Charge isn't enough. Instead, he's going to take... Oh, the axe came in! That was a whisker away.
First, he felt that on his backside, just kind of hit a couple of hairs or something like that. But still, that trade there, it really shouldn't have happened. That was such an amazing play by EG to turn into such a failure. Froggen with that knockback into the wall, like you were mentioning, to get Wicked over that wall to help out, picking up that nice double kill, losing, only Froggen since we did see Kevin pick him up. But still, it's like we saw earlier with EG in their game before. They lost 2 members, they backed away, but then they turned it around against the Wolves, I believe it was. Actually, it was against Giants. No, it was Wolves. Sorry, it's Wolves. Turned it around and picked up a couple kills. So it's really unfortunate for EG, but still, they are not going to get secure this blue buff. Ocelot does take it, does get that extra sustain now. He has that catalyst done. He's starting to build up towards the items he needs. He's tanky enough now to deal with EG's damage, and EG's really in a tough spot at this point.
He saw how low Nif was and just tried to take a shock blast through, see if they can pick up anything from it, but it wasn't to be. Wicked now almost built up that Hextech revolver. Trying to get the Gunblade completed. He is just going to farm out. How is it working out for him? Because he's 2-2-2 right now, whereas Kevin at 4-2-0 and Olaf. Is that going to be a problem come late game? Crepo's going to finish off this bottom turret. That's going to even things up. In fact, it's going to give him a turret advantage and a 1,000 gold difference. That top turret should go down shortly, but Kevin's not going to follow this one off. Instead, he's going to head straight down. Dragon is going to be up in about 20 seconds time.
We did see Wicked actually go 0-2 in his last Akali game, and then he kind of came back because he picked up some kills, and he snowballs really hard. She's a hyper carry, and as long as he can keep picking up some kills, keep picking up a couple of items here and there, they're easily going to be able to get him in the game. I mean, he's not even out of the game at this point. He's behind in farm, but it doesn't really matter at this point.
Herkybot going aggressive. Thought about putting a Shadow Dash across the entire team there. Would have called them all out. As it was, Pink Ward goes in there, and they do clear that one out. Snoopy trying to come in, trying to put the pressure down, but they don't have any Pink Wards of their own. They don't have an Oracle, so they are unable to clear out. That's how quick that Shock Blast can land on Nif, and it can drop his health just like any old Nidalee Spear would do. And it is a dangerous, dangerous thing, especially now he's got that BF sword, and that lands it a second time. Froggen seems very accurate with that, and I guess no surprise by that when you think how accurate he can be on Anivia. He thought about trying to help it. Ooh, it's just going to keep on blasting through. The poke possibilities from Froggen right now is pretty dangerous for SK Gaming, if Candy Panda were to get hit by some of them as well, it's definitely going to put the damage down. You can see now that's what he's exactly a V5 fight, and they still came out on top.
Yep, that just shows you how far ahead they are. I mean, Candy Panda did get caught. It was unfortunate for him. We do have Dragon being started yet again, but we do have Froggen in the top lane, and it looks like SK will be able to lock this down.
Double pink wards go down, but SK Gaming have more men in the fight, and you can see those wards getting cleared out. Crepo needs to be covered. He doesn't get popped where he stands. Wicked at the moment can't dive on this one, and that is going to be the Dragon picked up for SK Gaming. Gold very much on the nose, 27.2 to 27.2, and now they're going to turn tail and run towards this middle turret. They don't have enough though, and SK Gaming, they don't feel they can fight on the turret just yet, and I think they're pretty much on the nose there. Do you think they can?
Yeah, I mean, we have Kevin with the Sunfire Cape. He has 116 armor at this point, but the thing is, it's a tier 1 turret. It doesn't do that much damage. He can tank it easily, and as long as they can keep Candy Panda alive, which also, if he does it right, he can keep Wicked locked down because of the slow, because of the silence, which will completely shut him down. Candy Panda should be completely fine, not to mention you have the Shen ultimate, you have his taunt, you have the crescendo. They have the ability to do these dives. They're just not really confident in it.
Well, we'll see how it works out. 20 minutes gone in this game. Another half hour at least to go. Just doing that one. Going by experience here, ladies and gentlemen. That's all that's cast as. Kevin is going to return to that top lane. And look, he's all Wicked backing away straight away. He wants nothing to do with Kevin. He doesn't want a toe-for-toe fight. And maybe this is a problem, you know. Olaf was available. They could have picked Olaf. Instead, they chose not to. It was EG's choice. Is it the right choice?
I mean, obviously it's not, but I love how they're being really experimental. They're really trying new things. You see Kevin tanking through Wicked's damage and turning around onto him, but we do have EG coming up.
He's trying to bait it. They are going to have it. Is it going to be long enough, though? Here comes the audacious charge. He's going to get the knockup. Kevin's going to get taken down. The damage coming in. Stand United. They go back on towards Kevin. Is it long enough? Shadow Dash comes across. He's trying to keep Kevin down. They have to drop him, but Wicked goes down. Now it's a 2v1, a 3v2. So the crescendo is perfect. Ocelot comes back around. Froggen goes down. Crepo's running for his life, and Snoopy will be left. No, it's going to come back around. Yellow Pete comes up. Can they turn this around? Ocelot's shaking very low. Ocelot's dropped, but a great Shadow Dash across there. Hercules going to get taken down. Crepo's taken low as well. We do see Yellow Pete coming across. Yellow Pete does take down, and now it's going to be Nif. Nif's going to get dropped down. It's a crazy fight back and forth, but it will be a 4-3 for Evil Geniuses. What a crazy turnaround fight. Candy Panda, meanwhile, continues shoving down that bottom lane. He may get a turret out of it.
Yeah, it was a 4-for-3 for EG, but like you're just saying, if they lose this turret, it's going to completely go in SK's favor. And that fight, what a fight indeed. Hercubot, that first taunt we saw out of him, it missed everyone, but it didn't seem like it really did. It kind of got in between, like he got a field goaled a little bit right there. But also coming in, getting down the damage, Kevin just tanking through the entire team of EG. Such a great play by them, and that should show them, if they didn't before, they can win these fights. They can get these turrets down. They can tank the turrets if need be. And EG, they're honestly looking like they might lose this game.
Well, they came out on top in the fight, but it was a very much splattered one.
Well, Ezra wasn't there, that's the thing. We had Yellow Pete there, but Candy Panda wasn't.
Yeah, it was a 4v5. We do see the True Shot barrage going across there, clearing out the top there. He did manage to steal away that blue buff, so that was the advantage he gained, controlling that resource. Here's Snoopy. Well, he doesn't want to go 1v1 versus Kevin right now. Kevin, of course, with that Ninja Tab, he has got the Fortitude Potion as well this time, so he's going to get himself a bit of a heal should it be required. And of course, you know, you pop anything really on Kevin right now. He is so tanky. You saw how long 4 members of Evil Geniuses took to kill him there. That is a worry.
Yeah, very true. And the thing is, it's a crucial point again. We have Froggen.
They're going for him again. They're going to go. Yellow Pete is lingering off the side. Yeah, he's not going to fall for it this time. He walks away. He had Ragnarok and Ghost. He baited it all in. He was expecting that fight.
Yeah, I mean, he was pretty much baiting them. Or they were baiting him originally, but he turned it around into a bait for them. Fortunately, they did lose that fight overall. But still, I mean, we have Froggen. He has the tier stacked up. He could have his Mirror Mana when he does go back for it. And that's going to create a really big problem for SK, because if they allow EG to poke at them, it's going to create a lot of problems. And yet, looking for Kevin, doing it again. He's keeping that lane pushed up. He's forcing members of EG to deal with him, and that allows Candy Panda at the bot lane with Nif to push up.
They go past the ward. They get spotted out. The question is, can they drive him forward? Froggen's position is very well known, and that means they're going to pressure in towards that mid lane. The pressure in the bottom lane. We do see actually Candy Panda is... No, they're going to keep pushing that bottom lane. They realise that Froggen and Yellow Pete are at the top, so that's going to open up this bottom lane to completely be shoved down. 4 members of SK Gaming. Good tactical play here, and this is all being created by Kevin in that top lane. He's just driving them, forcing the advantage.
He's like a Singed right now. You have to send something to deal with them, but you can't really kill him. They'll get into their turret. The gold lead getting extended even farther. And Dragon, if I'm not mistaken, will be coming up very shortly, about a minute and a half here. And if SK can lock that down, the gold lead they'll accomplish from that, as you see, if you look at gold right now, Candy Panda sitting on 3,000 gold. You have Kevin on another 1,000. How do you stop, Kevin first of all, but then how do you stop Candy Panda, who has that much gold to pick up whatever he wants?
And he is going to just buy whatever he wants. I guess it would be Static Shiv, pretty sure. He's got that Avarice Blade already in there. As it is, Kevin on that top lane. There's nothing really stopping him. They've had to put Yellow Pete up there to try and keep that minion waves at bay, because simply put, Wicked is wasting his time up there. He needs to be the damage man. He needs to be the one that's trying to stop off Candy Panda so he can dash straight onto him, try and burst him down. But honestly, has that moment now passed? Is Candy Panda too slippery and too strong to be able to be dealt with by Wicked?
It just depends on how well SK plays it. As long as they keep him alive, they'll have Kevin going through the entire team, because they all have to die for him. Look at all his
pink wards being picked up. Wow.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And they really want to make a play here. They have 5 pink wards total, and they're going to be going for Baron very shortly. Not to mention, going to go for the upper jungle side, I'm going to go ahead and say, because if they can put pink wards down, they can really give Kevin that opportunity to keep pushing that, because then he'll know if anyone's coming after him. And if SK sees that, they're like, hey, we'll go bottom or we'll go middle and take a couple more turrets.
So pink ward gets placed in the bush. It's definitely going to be a dragon being picked up. Question is, can they drive any other advantage? Evil Genius is very much prepared for this one. We do see Snoopy coming down, putting that ward down. Shock Blast comes through. Pink ward of their own placed down. Wards getting placed everywhere. Oracle's being picked up by Crepo. They don't want to face check that bush. They are going to come around. Kevin, wow, look at that. Shock Blast doesn't even dent his backside. It was just like shrugging it off. I needed a bit of a massage. Thanks for hitting me right there. You just caught the spot beautifully. Froggen takes the damage. He gets the back away. Nobody right now can deal with Kevin romping through that front line.
And he's pretty much 1v5 with them, keeping them pushed away. And the thing is, SK, they can go for Dragon and pretty much force the fight off that, and yet they're still being really hesitant. They have this lead. They need to push it. They need to close this game out, because if EG keeps dragging it on with the damage they're building up, it's going to create a really big problem for anyone to survive against them.
The issue right now for SK Gaming is they've had this advantage against Fnatic. They've had this advantage before against other teams, and they have thrown it. That's going to be in their back lane, and Snoopy comes in. He gets the steal down. Now they're going to go down. Snoopy will pay for his life. No, Crescendo comes across. Very nicely done there from Nif. The damage coming out. Wicked getting dropped where he stands. He dives in. Froggen the next target. Yellow Pete's going to get dropped. Kevin is hammering away at him. Candy Panda picks up the kill. Kevin is running for his life. Ocelot's going to chase down Crepo. He's going to get another shot down. Yes! Shadow Dash there. You hear the charge. They're happy with that one. And now Crepo, Froggen's trying to come in, but you can't do the damage. You cannot 4v1. And he is going to get taken down. It's 4-0, and SK Gaming turn and burn. They're going to take the turret. They're going to take the Baron.
And that was such a perfect play to Ocelot if you saw it. Not to mention Nif. That crescendo couldn't have been any more perfect. And right after that crescendo ended, we saw Ocelot land that silence right over to Wicked and just shut him down. They got him out of the fight. They kept Candy Panda alive, and they won the fight because of that. And now they're going to get the Baron. They're going to be able to push up. They're going to be so strong right now. I mean, look at the gold yet they have again. After this Baron, each member is going to have over 1,000 gold sitting on. And they're just going to get so many more items, so you get that much further ahead. There's really nothing EG can do. I mean, well, there's something they could do. They can easily stall it out, which they're known for doing, and they can drag it out far enough to, start doing some damage back. But the thing is, Kevin's going to get that much more stronger and that much more of a threat.
Well, we talked about it before. We talked about how the difference is, and the fact that AEG had been pointing out SK Gaming was so strong right now. This appears to be what they've learned from the scrims that they've had between them. They're shouting back and forth between the teams. They are very much the blood pressure right now. I'd love to have some biometrics on these teams, because I reckon the heart rates in these team fights must go through the roof. They do for me, that's for sure.
Yeah, especially when these fights break out. They're so insane and so much action happening everywhere. And I'm pretty sure Ocelot right now is feeling really good about himself, because his team is looking very strong to take this game and show everyone that this lineup they have finally built up can really do some serious damage against these top tier teams, which they clearly are.
You know what? If SK Gaming were to land the win here, it is going to throw this league wide open in week 1. There's going to be no one with clear run. We saw it without... Actually, I'm not going to give results away. We saw some strong performances in the North American first week. Let's put it that way. As it is, EG are going to try and turn an advantage here. They realize that a lot of people are backed away. Can they get the damage done towards this turret? Can they take an advantage? Can they take the middle inner turret down? They will do. And that was a good sneaky little run there from Evil Geniuses. Do not leave your mid lane open.
Yeah, caught him off guard right there, but still SK, they're going to be on a push here. We have Hercubot split pushing the bottom lane.
countering. They're running. They're running. They haven't used Shirelias, but they're chasing.
Yeah, I mean, as long as Kevin gets up there in time, we have the Sten United up for Hercubot, so he's going to keep that bot lane pushed up. He's going to force someone to deal with him, but he's so tanky enough right now. He's pretty much on Kevin's level with, without the Shirelias, but still, he's so hard for anyone to deal with. I don't think anyone can really take him on 1v1, except maybe Yellow Pete, who finally has a couple of strong items, or maybe potentially Jace with that Mirror Mana and that Bloodthirster combo with the Brutalizer. But if he's setting up, you see those wards over that wall, he really wants to get these crescendos landing. He has Flash, can be up fairly shortly. And if he creates an opportunity with that crescendo, SK is going to dogpile on top of that.
Interesting build that Candy Panda's gone for that Warden's Mail. He's just, obviously he realizes he's going to be the man that's dived on, and he's just built perfectly to counter it, yeah.
He wants to keep, every time Wicked hits him, he's going to be slowed and gives him that little bit of room, that breathing room. Thing is, Wicked only has those 3 charges. Once those are up, he's not going to be able to stick to him.
He's not going to be able to get away either, and you can see the damage that Static Shiv is doing. The damage is being output from Candy Panda, and Kevin quite happy to take that turret hit. Look at that. The turret's just like, yeah, not even feeling it. It's another massage for Kevin.
That's a second turret in a row. Actually, no, not the second turret, but what can they do against him? He's just so beefy. He has the Shredders to jump on him. He has that cooldown reduction. They have the lockout on Solari over to Hercubot, and SK looking like they finally feel confident enough to take this turret down.
They just pinged it. They just pinged it and said, Wicked is over here. They can't do anything. This is a 4v5. We can just tank this turret out, and they do just that. Using that Baron, maybe, just maybe they've learned overnight, okay, we know what we need to do. And the fact that we discussed it with them, and they basically said, we know what the problem is. Have they addressed it this quick? They haven't taken an inhibitor yet, so let's not get ahead of ourselves, but they have a 5,000 gold advantage, a 2 turret advantage, a 3 kill advantage.
And the thing is, you have to look back at what happened in this game so far. EG came out of the doors just running straight at them. They got that early turret. They were very aggressive in that top side as well, trying to go for a gank there. And yet SK held on. They kept their composure. They kept calm. They held on long enough that they could turn the game around, turn the tables onto EG, and start winning these fights, start winning this game. And they are starting to put some pressure onto this top side, but we still have Hercubot pushing the bottom, and Kevin, he's coming for blood, as you see him right there, coming into this top side, trying to catch Snoopy.
As it is, they're going to keep in there. Snoopy, got to be careful he doesn't get caught out. Kevin's going to come around the back there. Doesn't bother tanking it. There's no need. There's absolutely no need, because they already disengaged. The sheer threat of Kevin coming nearby. Tell Peke that last week. I don't think he was feeling the threat, but as it is, the threat of Kevin was strong.
Yeah, very, very true indeed. And they're going to be back in with a nice chunk of gold yet again. We're going to have that random and Zoman done for Candy Panda very shortly, as he's going to go back and buy it. And the thing is, SK, they're just getting that much stronger.
I had an interesting conversation with Ocelot. I've had a few of them over the course of the weekend. And actually he said, we can win the lane phases. We can be way ahead. But 40 minutes, and I won't tell you what he said, but at 40 minutes, we sure know how to throw the game.
Yeah.
They just lose one team fight and it's all over. And that is actually a legitimate problem. They have Caitlyn, they have Jace, they have Shinzao in there. They have a lot of damage that can be done to those turrets, and you can shred the turret down very, very quickly. We can see the Brutalizer coming out now from Snoopy. He's already feeling he's got tanky enough that he just needs more damage to put it down. This is still a legitimate problem for SK Gaming.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, the longer they drag out, the stronger Yellow Pete's going to get. That window of him being weak is starting to come to a close. He's going to have that Last Whisper done soon enough, and that way he can actually take Kevin on. SK can take another dragon. That is the second of the game for them, since they got that last one stolen away. But still, it seems a little bit unnecessary, and that's kind of going into the whole fact of closing out a game. Do you really need that dragon when you should be making a push?
Yeah, I mean, the Baron buff is worn out. They did fight hard for it to get in there. It was all from a dragon fight that it happened. They managed to take that advantage. Have they got enough of an advantage? They're split pushing. It seems to be they're at that situation, like you mentioned. They're a little unsure of what they should do right now.
I mean, you have a Shen. Get him split pushing. Keep Kevin as your zoning power. When he goes into that top lane, use that Shen ultimate on the Candy Panda. Keep him alive. Have Ocelot doing what he's been doing every single fight of just locking Wicked out. And as long as you do that, Froggen won't have the damage to really lock down anyone. I mean, he's going to have Kevin in his face. He's going to have Hercubot in his face potentially. What can you really do against that? Not to mention, if you get a nice crescendo on the EG, they're going to be stuck there.
Well, everybody's back in. Everybody's going to be buying them wards, and we're going to see a Baron dance coming out, because it is due in 50 seconds time. Well, actually 60 seconds to be hit the nail on the head. We do see a couple of pink wards coming out. We see a bit more damage, possibly a Void staff, Ryla's staff maybe even coming out, sorry, for Ocelot, as he picks up a Blasphemon to go with that Giant's Belt. Anything particular that you are seeing from the builds? Because there is a lot of damage on EG and SK Gaming. The question is, can they lay it in the right place, and can they control that crazy, crazy Kevin?
Well, the thing is, EG can't, but if you look over at Nif, he picked up a runic bulwark to give him the extra magic, the extra armor for Candy Pen. He has a Randuin's as well. SK knows where they or who they want to keep alive, and they're building the items to do that. And they have the damage they need. I mean, you see Oss, like you're mentioning, building a Rylai's Crystal Scepter because he doesn't need that much more damage. And that could have been a nice pincer move right there because Froggen is nowhere to be seen.
I feel they went a little too early there. I think Candy Panda kind of, you know, overshot the target, maybe went a little bit early because he just shot out there. As it was, Kevin was looking, like you say, getting a pincer move around the back there, and I think they could have made that work.
Yeah, the thing is, Baron gonna roll now, so it's kind of one of those things of, do you really want to risk losing a team fight right before a Baron?
Well, is this the problem that they've talked about? Oh, are they going to drop it? No, they're going to dive in, they're going to go in, they're going towards Wicked. Crescendo comes across, catches 4 members of Evo Geniuses. Wicked with the wild growth, still hasn't gone down. He's on towards Candy Panda. Candy Panda finally manages to take him down. Now Froggen's the target, and that Warden's Mail's doing justice because he's finally gone down, but it is Froggen that got dropped in the process. Ocelot has been taken out by Yellow Pete, but Crepo is going to go down. Ace in the hole coming out from the side here. Yellow Pete, where are you running, Yellow Pete? It's a 2 for 3. He's going to try and back. It should just be enough to hold off. SK Gaming could go for Baron if they so desire, but they are going to go towards the inhibitor turret. I'm not sure whether they can get onto it, though. I think they could.
I think it's that last fight, that was insane because you saw 3 members dive straight for Candy Panda. You had that Crescendo. He had a choice, Nif right there. Hit 4 members of EG or lock down Wicked. And he decided to go for the 4 members of EG. We had Hercubot open up with a flash taunt on a Wicked to lock him down. And with all of them attacking Candy Panda with the control that their team has, with the amount of tankiness he is, they could not kill him. They couldn't even drop him below half health.
Well, we do see a giant wave in that top lane pushing in towards the base, but Evil Genius is well aware of the situation. They had no vision of Baron, so they're having to look it out, but they're realizing potentially nothing happening there. Wicked will clear out that top wave, and that's going to help out. So, Evil Geniuses, they hang on a little bit longer, and that was a pretty close fight. Let's be fair. Ocelot was the target, and as I mentioned, Yellow Pete and Froggen, they do have a lot of damage, but we saw Wicked and Froggen, they were the ones that absolutely piled onto Candy Panda, and it took both of them to really get him down, but he took them both with him.
Yeah, and Yellow Pete was the one that was actually just pretty much pushing Ocelot out of that fight. He ended up getting the kill by flashing over the Wraith Wall just to lock it down. That's why he saw the ultimate come from that side of the map, and as long as he can keep doing that to Ocelot, they have potential to win these fights because Ocelot's really kind of key to lock down Wicked. It wasn't necessarily so much in that fight, but still, if you take out, you know, someone who's an assassin like that, an AP assassin, you can get to the backside and just pretty much destroy Yellow Pete, destroy Frog, and it's really going to create an opportunity for you to win these fights. But still, what's their answer for Candy Panda and Kevin? They don't really have one at this point.
The issue right now, we're getting close to 40 minutes. We're coming into Evil Genius's territory. They are the late game beasts of all the games. The question is, have SK Gaming let this go too long?
I don't think so.
Are they at the point, is the tankiness going to start becoming null and void when the damage gets that high?
I don't think so. They just have the control they need right now because they've been doing so well in every single fight this entire game to keep the key targets alive and to pretty much zone out and kill the targets of EG. And in terms of mental focus, I think SK is on an adrenaline rush right now because they're doing so well against EG, and they want to prove to everyone that they can take them down, and they want to prove Wicked right about what he said.
Well, I think they're proving the fact that that Shock Blast nearly didn't dent Candy Panda. He's got that Randian's Omen complete, and he has got a lot of defensive abilities, and you can see just tanking out there 188 armor on Candy Panda.
On an 80 carry.
On an 80 carry. Wow. Oh, I tell you what, Froggen's going to show himself in that top lane. Is it going to be close enough? Will they try and pile for anything? They are moving towards the Baron. There isn't many wards there. Nif simply just on a sweep duty, though. It may catch them out. They are going to get Snoopy Ham to split apart there. Hercubot thought about going for it.
SK, they're stalling for no reason. They need to make a decision. They need to make a concise move here because they're just dragging the game out. They're not doing anything right here. They're letting EG get back into the game by, you know, farming up. They're not creating an opportunity when they could just run straight into them, you know, land a potential taunt or have Ocelot get a nice slow onto the enemy team with that Shurelez, as you see him right there, trying to get that slow on a Crepo. But they're not engaging. It seems like they lost their confidence even though they weren't really losing the fights.
They are unsure of their abilities. True Shot Barrage has been shot off down the bottom. That clears out a giant wave. They have started pulling out the Baron, and they're going to disengage straight away. And we do see EG. They do have another Shock Blast across. Still nobody wants to engage on this one.
They're positioning right now. I didn't understand that. I mean, they have an Oracle. you're going to have EG limited on wards. If they use them all, they have to back out, come in with new ones, and that creates a Baron opportunity for you, and yet they're backing out for no real reason.
Herkimot goes back, gets himself another Ruby Crystal. Was it worth it? Not too sure. That little bit of health could be the difference. We do see some backing as well coming from Yellow Pete and Crepo. They're going to try and take advantage. They realize that everybody is backed off, and well, the little Baron dance continues. Honestly, Jason, right now, if they were to go straight on 5v5 fight, who is really going to be the victor? And obviously, it depends heavily on how the engage works.
Yeah, I mean, that is the key point. It really depends on where the positioning is and how well SK does at controlling. We have just so much armor built up over to SK right now. Kevin finishing his random Omen, but you know, it all comes down to pretty much Wicked and Yellow Pete in their positioning. If Wicked can kind of be tank F, as he does finish off that Warmogs, and survive long enough to pretty much bait all the damage into him, then it allows Yellow Pete to just train through all of SK one by one, and you even see a Blade of the Rune King picked up on him right now, just to get that extra damage. The thing is, he has that Last Whisper. Black Cleaver is done on Frog, and so if they pair up and attack the same target, the armor they're going to have is not really going to matter, as he's going to be chunking them down percent-wise.
You got to feel that's the absolute best item right now for Yellow Pete. They could potentially rip someone apart if they can get onto the right person, like you mentioned. The question is, how much damage? I kind of feel that Wicked needs a Zhonya's Hourglass. I don't know, because he's the man that's been going piling in there, and everybody is focusing. If he can just bait them that much and just pop that, I don't know. I mean, it's not really
It's a perfect situational item, though, because you're right. He's going to the backline. They're blowing so many cooldowns to kill him, to keep him off Candy Panda, and Yellow Pete's at that point with all these items that he's the one doing the damage. He's the one that needs protecting. He's the one.
They've gone for it. They've dived on towards Kevin Stan United. It has been worth. Crescendo only used on Yellow Pete, and that's not going to be enough. Yellow Pete does manage to flash a row. Shadow Dash comes across. Yellow Pete's going to get taken down. Wild Growth used on Yellow Pete. Yellow Pete, the focus. Can they turn it around? Yellow Pete's gone down. The damage line has gone. SK Gaming should turn this one on its face, but Wicked in around that back line. He's going to get dropped down. He can't escape because there's an Oracle on the team, and that's going to be a 2 for 0. SK Gaming could just pile straight through the middle. The damage front line has gone down, and SK Gaming should pick up an inhibitor off this one. I'd be amazed if EG can defend it.
And that was EG engaging that fight for no reason. We saw Snoopy go in, and then he got completely turned around on. We saw Wicked, he went off to the side. He was trying to go into the back line, but the thing is, right when he came in, he got exhausted, and they just ran away from, they killed Yellow Panda, and then they pretty much just moved on to another target, and that way, opened up that inhibitor.
There's some Yellow Pandas on the map right now.
Yellow Pete. It's a new Annie skin, I'm telling you.
Candy Pete and Yellow Panda. It's a mix mash of everyone. But it doesn't matter because SK Gaming are looking like they're going to pick up a Baron here. And SK, well, could they even bait this one out? We see the Shock Blast coming in. They've got to be careful. Froggen is still a legitimate threat off the side. There they are at half health. Crepo coming around as well. They do see a ward in the bush there. They're going to clear that one out. Can they get the steal? Snoopy is there. No, instead they're going to turn it around. Ocelot's now the target. Froggen's taken down very low, but Snoopy's surely in all sorts of trouble. They can just shred his down. Oh, the audacious charge across. He manages to go towards Ocelot. It's only a knock-up though, and well, Ocelot turns it back around on him and jukes him down for the 1v1, and the damage once again is done, but it does delay the Baron.
Yeah, that was a great play actually by EG there too. They lost one member, but they kept off that Baron. They have that inhibitor down, so if SK did get that Baron, they can just split push the entire time and let those Supermans push, force this one to deal with them. Overall, that was a perfect play by EG, and now it looks like they had the potential to go for it if they wanted to, even though they didn't have their jungler. Well, I don't think they really can do it anymore, as you do have, the entire enemy team of SK closing in on them.
How quick can they take this down? If you can select the Baron, please. And so we will see the health, and we can see it's down to 9,400. And here comes SK Gaming. They're going to dive in. It's Wicked, seems to be the target. The Crescendo comes across, scratches Crepo, but Froggen's now big on the fight. He's going towards the damage on towards Herkibot, but you can see Yellow Pete has already been taken down, and SK Gaming just back away. The Shock Blast comes in. They're just defending as much as they can humanly possible. Snoopy is down though, and a 3-man defense. I don't think they can stop it. Oh, but the Shock Blast once again. Candy Panda, they're going to turn it. They're going to turn straight on towards him. EG in all sorts of trouble. Wicked's trying to put the damage down, but they have been separated. Crepo's trying to get away. Wicked doing as much as he can to stealth around. Can he dash across? He was hoping he could see it, but no, he's going to get dropped. And well, Froggen, I don't think you can keep it off. It's got to be a sneaky steal. That's all they can hope for now.
This is like the 4th time they're going for Baron here. And I didn't even notice that Austin actually actually picked up a random to open himself, and he popped it there just to keep him slow, keep him off Candy Panda. That's such a perfect itemization of him.
Candy Panda on towards Crepo. Crepo, wow, look at that. He's just trying to keep them in there. He wants to get close. The Baron down to 5,000 hit points, 4,000 hit points. Here comes Frog, and he's going to try and get in. He's being picked off, though, and his Candy Panda's going to take him down, and that is going to be the Baron eventually being picked up by SK Gaming. It's took them a hard-fought battle to get that buff.
And that's a 64-second death term on Frog, and it's that late in the game where if you die, you're pretty much out of the fight for the rest of the game. We do have the Super Minions pushed up onto those Nexus turrets. We have SK backing away with that Baron. We have 3,000 gold on Candy Panda right now. What is he to pick up as his next item? I'm assuming it would be an Infinity's Edge, because that's going to give him just... he goes for another Bloodthirster, actually. Go for extra sustain against his team, because he was getting relatively low in some of those fights. But with this Baron now, with this Baron up SK, with this crazy items, you see Hercule running in with that home guard. It's always funny to see the home guard, I have to say. But with how strong they are right now, with that Baron, with that inhibitor down, this looks like SK is going to close this game out.
I don't think there'll ever be a moment where Kevin doesn't buy home guards anymore. If you are the person in a highlight video on the end of that highlight video, I don't think you'd ever let that happen again. And I'm pretty sure that's always going to be. And SK Gaming,
why?
With the Baron buff, well, 70k is not quite enough gold. You've got to have another dragon.
The thing is, you're not going to spend that anytime soon, so what's the point? If anything, push that tower, get that inhibitor, get it on the way out. But, it seems like they're wasting a little bit of time, but still, they are grouping up, pushing this bottom side, and with those Supermans still pushing down this mid lane, inhibitor not going to be up for a little bit longer. They can create a lot of pressure here, and we still have, Yellow Pete on the top side, not really in position to defend this. And Kevin, he's just doing what he wants. He's basically a Mundi right now. He's going where he pleases.
Kevin is going where he pleases. At 11-3-10, he certainly can do, and they are going to go in towards it. I tell you what, anyone on this team could tank up this turret right now, and it is going to be the inhibitor going down. One more shot will be enough to finish it off, and Candy Panda's going to come in and do the job. And now SK Gaming driving in towards Evil Genius's base, and Evil Genius is having to back away. They've got Super Minions coming up the middle. They've got SK Gaming coming up the bottom, and along the top lane is also a giant stack of waves. This could well be SK Gaming closing out the match for the first time against Evil Geniuses. It would feel so good. They did it in the European qualifiers. Can they do it here in their third game of the LCS?
I think we're going to see that happen. Doing very systematic end right here. They're going to go for this last turret. And EG, they have to make a play here. They have to engage on SK because they're going to lose their base to those two open inhibitors. If they don't make a play here, this game will be over either way for SK.
And you can see they're just torn. How are they going to split this one? Froggen has gone back. He's gone back to heal himself up, gone back to buy. They can't let this final inhibitor turret go down. They've been in this situation before against World Elite. They have Super Minions coming up the middle. They have major stacks of minions coming up the bottom. I'm not too sure if they're Super Minions yet. They have got the inhibitor respawn. That's going to go down straight away. They are desperately keeping them at bay here, but the Baron of SK Gaming are just going where they please right now.
Kind of surprised actually going through this route. They're tanking up to tank that turret completely, and they could zone them out with their own champions if they kind of went through the backside, but still they're knocking on the front door. Those two waves still pushing up right now. Super Minion waves finally coming in on that bottom side, and EG...
Look at that. Shock Blast is doing nothing to Hercubot. They need to just walk in and hit the goddamn turret, and that is exactly what they're going to do. Finally, it's actually Candy Panda that's tanking out the turret instead of Hercubot and Kevin, which could probably take about 10 shots from that turret without even blinking. And finally, they're keeping the damage, keeping it working down. They've got Super Minions on the Nexus turrets right now. They are starting to lose their Nexus turret, and you can see Froggen's had to go back and deal with it. It's a 4v5 right now. Ocelot is just waiting. Will the call ever come through? Wicked is certainly going to be the target. Instead, it's going to be Yellow Pete. They put damage down, but it's still not enough. Super Minions still on the turrets. Well, are they ever going to pull the trigger? The Nexus turret has gone down. Audacious charge. Wild growth on Snoopy, but Snoopy's got no damage to do it. And now you can see Froggen. He's on towards Ocelot, but Ocelot is so tanky. He's got a Randy Zomany of his own. He takes down Froggen. Crepo is taking low. Yellow Pete's the target. Crepo's going to go down. SK Gaming are going to take down the Evil Geniuses here in the League of Legends Championship Series. And that is going to feel so good for the boys in blue. And wow, what a game. Finally it happened. And well, as we expected, 48 minutes into the game, they finally win.
And really what a game indeed. Looking back at just how it started and how it ended, SK played phenomenal right there. They're so excited as you saw them on your screen, as EG just looking like